How's it going, YouTube? Dom here. In this video, we're going to really talk about ChatGPT, AI, and whether it's going to take our jobs. You know, I've been hearing about this topic quite a lot from a lot of people, and a lot of wannabe developers are really worried that, you know, AI is going to replace the need for developers. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to talk about if it's going to be able to replace our jobs, and then, you know, what you're going to do about it. So make sure you stay till the end of the video to get all the information so that you can make an informed decision whether it makes sense for you to continue to learn how to code. So let's get into it. So the first thing I really want to talk about is I want to talk about AI in general. What is it really? The reason why I talk about this is once you understand what AI actually does, it's going to help you make an informed decision on whether AI is actually going to take away the need for our jobs, right? So what AI does in a nutshell is AI, basically, you give it a data set and it predicts patterns based on the data set such that it can make predictions on what to do, right? So if you give it a data set, right, let's just say that, what's a practical application of AI here? Let's just say sports betting, right? You take it based on sports betting, and then, you know, you give it a list of teams, you give it a list of records over the past 5 years, you know, how many goals they scored, how many goals they allowed, the win percentage, how many wins, how many overtime wins, and stuff like that. And then AI is very useful to see, you know, who's going to win the Stanley Cup or who's going to win the NBA championship, right? Because based on, you know, say a 5-year gap, they can predict that, you know, say the Golden State Warriors, they have won the past 5 years. So there's a high likelihood that Golden State Warriors are at least going to be at, you know, the top at least, right? But that's where it comes in. And that's what you need to understand here is it's making predictions. It's not actually accurate, right? So the more data you give it, obviously, the smarter it gets and the more accurate the actual AI algorithm actually is. But you need to provide its data set. And how is that actually calculated? And how do you get that data set in the first place? Now, that's the second thing that you want to understand here is how do we get this data set in the first place, right? Well, we can use it based on past data. That is very true. But what happens if you're in a new space and, you know, that allows for a lot of innovation, right? You're obviously not going to have a lot of data on that particular topic. Another consideration you have to make is what's called the first adopters, right? So there's a concept in business that has been really prevalent from the time that I started in business called the first adopters theory. So what happens is usually the people that make the most money in a particular space are the first adopters. They get on a trend early and then they profit the most from it, right? And then after all the competition starts to come in, then that's when you get a higher competition, higher space, and that's really where AI comes in, is during that kind of competition phase. So that's a really key point I'm making over here. The really key point here is the fact that you need to be an early adopter, and that's how you generally guarantee that you actually are going to have a job in the future, right? As a developer, you really need to understand this theory. So how do you become an early adopter is another question you may be asking yourself. There is no easy way to be an early adopter, right? But there are things that I've learned over my short career that have helped me to spot some of these trends early on. And one of them is taking an existing need in the market and finding new ways to solve it, right? So let's take a very, very typical example here. So one of my mentors, he got into, he was a digital marketing consultant back in 2012. Now, during that time, digital marketing was kind of a new thing, right? So it's not like today, if you know anything about the digital marketing space. It really came to prevalence around 2015, 2016. and he got into Facebook advertising, which was very early on, kind of a shitty platform at that time, during the 2015 mark, and a lot of businesses were aware of it. But then you had a guru named Tai Lopez who came into the industry and started selling this program called Social Media Marketing Agency, which I did sign up for, that basically said, hey, you go to these local businesses and you sell Facebook ads. And then what I observed over the past, over the next like 3 to 5 years or so, is that space became very, very competitive. You know, the Facebook ads got more expensive. You know, the competition got a lot higher. And I saw the same scenario when it came to things like drop shipping and stuff like that. And it's actually something that I'm seeing in development as well, but not to the same extent as the online marketing world. So in summary, what you need to do is you need to be an early adopter, and you need to find those industries that AI hasn't been touched yet. So what ChatGPT and AI is going to do is they're going to go after the proven industries, right? They're going to go after things that have been around for a long time, or who need scalability, which is another point, right? Where AI really comes in is scalability. When you want to scale things, right? It's not something that is used typically for a proof of concept, because typically when you don't have a proof of concept, it's hard to get that, it's hard to give it that data in order for it to make smart predictions, in order for it to scale, right? It's only going to work if you have a proof of concept, if you have scale, right? Now, what do I mean proof of concept and scale and shit like that, right? What do I mean by that is, you know, you need to give it data, right? And you need to give it accurate data, right? But when you're building out a proof of concept, you're trying to figure things out on your own, right? And that's really where your expertise as a developer is actually going to come in, right? It's going to be during those proof of concept and, you know, during that generating phase. And then from there, what you're going to do, and this is really, really important, so listen up, is you're going to get that proof of concept and you're going to start to lead the algorithm to scale from there. And then you can focus on, you know, innovating and building new products. So in summary, what you need to know about this is no, AI will not replace your jobs. What you need to do is you need to be the person that's really, really good at creating those proof of concepts, and that's really, really good at innovation, because that's really where you're going to be a valuable asset as a developer and in the marketplace, right? So you're going to choose an industry. You're going to develop things like no other developer has before. You're going to generate all these ideas that, you know, no AI can ever compete with you, because definitely AI can wipe the floor when it comes to scalability and really pushing out the ideas really, really quickly, like quick iteration. But it's never going to replace innovation, because that is something that comes because we're humans, right? We're not robots. Robots don't have creativity. They feed it data, and they're really good at exporting the data as quick as possible, right? So in conclusion, it's still worth it to learn how to code, but you just need to approach it from a different perspective, right? So if that video was helpful, don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below if you like more content like this. And, you know, I'll see you on the next video.